Alright guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. So I wanted to provide you with some news on the Division movie, the Netflix adaptation of the Division. Now this has been in the making for a very long time, and a couple of weeks ago, I think it was February 25th, I actually put out a video talking about a new director, Rawson Thurber, who had been announced. And he actually put out this tweet saying, "To call this a dream job would be an understatement. I stood in line for 3 hours to catch a glimpse of the Division game at E3 in 2013. I played the alpha and the beta. I play the Division 2 every Tuesday night with 3 of my closest pals, and I won't let the community down." And yeah, he looks to be the man for the job. We looked at some tweets and stuff that he'd covered as well on Twitter, and I went into that stuff a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to provide more of an update on that. And this is a bit late, but Baundiesel, actually host of the EchoCast, actually got to sit down with him and interview him about stuff on the Division movie, and I kind of wanted to go over what it is we are going to what you can expect from the Division movie. Now, I didn't check out the whole kind of podcast because it was quite long, but there is a Reddit thread which basically breaks down the main points, and that's kind of what I want to look at today. So here we go. It says, interview on the EchoCast. Rawson Thurber, the director of the Division movie, sat down with Baundiesel to talk about the movie, the state of the project, and his plans for the movie adaptation. And there's obviously links to announcement in the video. These are some of the bullet points from the conversation. So how he came to the project. Rawson Thurber has been a day one fan of the Division franchise and waited for 3 hours in the line to watch at E3 2013 when it was announced. When he first heard that there was a movie adaptation for the game, he put his hand up but did not get picked. 5 years later, director David Leitch, who was originally attached to the project, had to leave the movie because of scheduling conflicts, and that was Thurber's chance to take over. This was the stuff I actually covered in a previous video. Current status of the movie. They've started writing the screenplay. There was already a previous draft, but Rawson Thurber had a very specific idea of what he wanted to do with the movie, so we started the script all over again with writer Ellen Shaman. Once that script is done and approved, the pre-production of the movie is going to start. When all goes well, they can hopefully start shooting by the end of 2021. I do like the fact that he kind of come in, looked at the script, and decided that, you know what, I want it to be quite a specific version of the Division. And I think the reason why he's done it that way is because he wants it to be as close to what we've got in the game as possible, is my belief. But we'll go through and see what else is here. Setting, the movie will be set in New York, and they are going with the Division 1 first. So this suggests there may be a sequel, possibly. I guess it depends on how popular it is. Rawson Thurber especially likes the concept of the Division 1 because it's fundamentally about doing something good, getting the power back on, getting food to people, and helping others. While there is a lot of shooting, taking cover, and closing doors involved, it is really about supporting those who can't help themselves. There is also a lot of fundamental questions. What do we owe each other in a society? In a lawless state, when there is no external force, it is basically up to your own moral compass to make the choice if you want to help or not. That's actually a really good way of looking at it, and I hope they explore that. Another unique aspect is that the Division agents are essentially normal people. They come from all walks of life, and when the watch is activated, they pack their things and run towards the danger. And that is a powerful theme. And I have to agree, I think the actual premise of the Division 1 story and what it is actually really strong, and I think it will make a very good and interesting story as long as it gets explored in the movie. The Cleaners are a very visually impressive faction to put into a movie. I think you'll be very happy. So, I mean, this all but confirms that we are going to at least get Cleaners in the Division movie. I suspect we'll get more factions as well. Video game adaptation challenges. The way you experience a game is fundamentally different than what you watch in a movie. And that's very, very true. It's not very common that you get good adaptations from games to movies or to series. So, and this is one of the reasons why, is you can't fit as much stuff as you experience into from a film into a movie. You know, a lot of people who enjoy Harry Potter, they enjoy the films, obviously, but you can't get as much depth as you would from the books because the books are so long, and that's where a lot of people don't prefer the books over, say, the films. And it's similar with games where, you know, games you can get 40, 50 hours plus, but you're not going to get that in a movie. It has to be put into 100 to 120 minutes, where it says here, a movie has 100 to 120 minutes to tell a story, while players and Thurber himself have over 5,000 hours of playtime in the game. The right way to approach the movie is to tell a story that is set within this world, that feels like a Division story and is about those characters and their journey. Absolutely. While all the shoot them up, the Easter eggs and all those things are important, and Rawson Thurber also wants them to be there, as the story and the characters need to be front and centre of the movie. Have to agree with you, definitely. A Division movie during a pandemic. While there are similar milestones between the real world and the Division with the dollar flu and its consequences is a lot more dramatic and serious in terms of magnitude. Also, the dollar flu was created in a lab with a specific purpose. So it could happen that there is a pandemic fatigue, but the movie will also not be a grim and depressing slog about a pandemic. It should be exciting with jeopardy and heart, with a bit of humour. The characters will carry the movie and it should not feel like the COVID, but as its own thing. And I guess that was one of the criticisms of the movie, is that, you know, with what's going on in the world, does it really make sense? But I'm glad they actually answered those questions. What skills would you see in the movie? The skills are a huge part of the Division, and there are a bunch of them that he wants to put into the movie. Seeker Mine, Pulse, drones, turrets, flame and ammo, and he also has a good spot for a hive moment. He is also trying to figure out a good spot for an echo. He also thinks he has one because it is a great storytelling tool. I have to agree. I think something like the echo is kind of fundamental to the Division story, so I do feel like it has to have a part. The same with skills. They're fundamental to the Division, and so they have to play a part. And it's these fundamentals that you get from the game. Those things have to make it into the movie, because otherwise it won't feel like it won't feel like an adaptation of the actual game. And so, but obviously you need to do it in the right way, so as it doesn't, you know, it's not just there for the sake of it. When was the first time you saw the Division? What reaction did it evoke from you? The first time you saw the game at E3 2013, and I think his jaw was on the floor. He also liked the co-op aspect of the game. He played a lot of MMOs. The attention to detail throughout the game is incredible, and it is visually gorgeous. I don't think anyone can dispute that. It's probably one of the best looking games there is and ever will be. Also, the dark and gritty feeling of Division 1 with a Christmas that never happened. Agree, that was just so great. Also, the Division is not a post-apocalyptic story. It is a mid-crisis story. So while society is balancing on life's edge, it's up to us to save it or not. And I forget about that stuff a lot of the time, especially when I was playing the Division 1. You kind of play it and you feel as though it's kind of the end of the world, but that's not the case. It's actually mid-crisis, as it says here. Are hunters something to potentially include in the movie? Yes. So the way this question is been presented is potentially include in the movie, and he's put yes to it potentially be included. So it's not confirmed that we will get hunters, but it would be, you kind of have the Division without hunters. Again, this is one of those fundamental things that just have to make it into the game, otherwise it's not going to feel like an adaptation, and so this has to make it. Will the soundtrack of the game be included in the movie? Steve Jablonsky, who did the score to Red Notice, is a big fan of Division and will do everything to capture the original soundtrack. And again, that's kind of the way it should be. Again, this is one of those fundamentals. So overall, I think that they've got a good person working on this. I'm actually excited to see this. In terms of movie adaptations from games and stuff, I've not seen too many that have been great. I mean, The Witcher, as in the Netflix series, is really good. I never actually played the Witcher game, if you can believe that, but I've heard how good that is, so I presume, and based on the feedback I saw from that, it seems to have done well. Monster Hunter, most recently, I've heard a lot of bad feedback about that film. The game itself is actually pretty good, so I don't think that's done a very good job. The new Mortal Kombat does look great, so I'm looking forward to that, and we'll have to see how that pans out compared to the game. But I really think this can do well. I really do, because I think the setting is there. I feel like the story is there. It's there to be explored, and there are a lot of unique things within the Division that will make it great as a movie. So overall, this is really good news. And yeah, again, guys, I know I'm a bit late to this. I think this came out 6 days ago, and it might have even been longer than that we got this news. But I kind of just wanted to give you guys an update for those people who were interested in the Netflix adaptation. I'm looking forward to it, but it doesn't look as though we're going to be getting anything until probably 2023, 2024, maybe, something like that. But there you go. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you all have a good weekend. Until the next one, Epic out.